I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, Trace.
Oh, that's me, sorry.
That's you.
Almighty and everlasting God, who presides over all things in heaven and earth, come and preside over these deliberations so that those that make the decisions may be guided by your wisdom. Sorry.
Thank you. That's okay.
I was wondering why you were all still standing.
Welcome to the February 11th combined work study and regular meeting.
There's no agenda for the mayor or council, so if you want to just do council presentations now.
Sure. Very good. Councilman Belishko?
Oh, really? I didn't have anything, but on the way here, Charlie, the green light at Pennsylvania Boulevard and Ross Street is out on the boulevard, right by LCTA's bus station. That's all, Tony.
Good, thank you. Councilman Barrett?
Just one or two things that I didn't bring up, or didn't send in. Parsons Park, where the football field is, there's a fence that runs all along the back of it. It's a chain link fence. It's been there forever. There's a section of it, I think the kids have been going over it and knocked it down. It's probably about 12, 15 feet, and it's down to the ground. It adjoins a piece of private property on the other side. Maybe we can have Dave take a look at it, see what we need to do to put it back up. Sure. Looks like the kids have been using it for a shortcut there right off the football field. And the other thing, and Scott Street right here off the boulevard, 50 feet off of it coming this way, there's a pave cut that's really sunk in there pretty good. I don't know if they can do anything with it. This time of year, it might have to wait, I'm not sure, but about 50 feet off the boulevard, and you just can't miss it if you're coming in this general direction.
Lisa, would you make a note of that, please?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot, I was supposed to turn it into you.
Mike does.
That's it, thank you very much.
I know which department to go to.
And anything else?
Keep her
Keep her busy.
Keep her busy.
Yeah, it's a utility cut. The rest of the street looks great. It was done several years ago, and just fell apart right there. Thank you.
Councilman Marin?
Yeah, I only have one thing. The old Empire Silk Mill building, it was supposed to, they started off about making it a restaurant and apartments. And there was an article in the paper last year, and it just ceased to stop. Does anybody know what's going on with that?
They haven't updated. They did a roof, the developer did a roof, and then stopped.
Okay, all right.
Down a couple of
Time when they're not speaking in.
Okay, yeah, that's the only thing I have today. They were just curious about that.
Thank you. Councilwoman McClays, who has a list.
Couple of things. So let's start with the good. I want to thank the DPW for the cleanup on East Chestnut by the railroad. It looks wonderful. It actually brought, you could see some of the neighbors are throwing garbage, so they cleaned that up. It looks fantastic. Now the other stuff. URS, the old URS building on Pennsylvania Ave, they put like industrial generators that are running all night long. I received a few calls about the noise. There's like 3 big generators there. So I don't know if maybe somebody can look to see why they have that. And then one more thing. Telephone poles. This is actually on Cary Ave. This telephone pole was put in last week
We're on it.
in the middle of the sidewalk.
Well, that was actually put in, I guess I should stand up.
Or Scott Street, they're all in the middle of the sidewalk.
Tracy, is this on?
Jeez.
Yeah, what happened was, the utility company hired a contractor, and they put them in, actually, believe it or not, there's utility poles right in the middle of the sidewalks. And there's a couple up on Scott Street, at Cary Avenue that you're looking at, but also there's one that's right in the direction of where the handicap curb is. So we had discussions because I called PennDOT, and we're getting in touch with the utility company. They're coming in. We have a meeting scheduled. They had to be removed, number one. They're going to be removed. Number two, there's several of the poles that have been replaced, but yet they're double poles now. Yeah. And some are in really bad shape. The second part is, and I'm sure, Councilwoman, you're going to bring this up, we're looking at getting the other poles removed, but the problem is, there might be 2 or 3 different utilities attached to that pole, and they have to wait till all the utilities have been removed before the pole can be removed. So that's something else that we're talking, we actually have the utilities coming in, but we'll talk about that. Verizon's number 1 to get those poles removed, because I noticed that one day I was driving down, and the very first day it happened, we noticed it.
Yeah, there's
You noticed
quite a
like
few
an
I
orange-
noticed,
an orange
but
color
this
and
is
stuff.
just like, I mean, I don't know, I don't know what they're, so are they going to, we're going to ask them to repair the sidewalk as well, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's going to be totally done over. There's requirements as far as PennDOT where they should be placed, okay, away from the street area.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean in the middle of the sidewalk. And there's several like that, and like I said, there's some up in
Yeah.
Scott Street that also are in the middle of the sidewalk. So they're all getting replaced. And
Okay.
also, we're working on getting the double poles removed. So it's an effort that we've been going through for the last couple of weeks, so you're exactly right. It's something that we've got to take care of, and we will.
Great,
I've never seen that like
that's
that.
it, I'm good.
Chairman, on the poles, the other, I know you had brought up the one on Scott Street coming up on the East Main where somebody severed off the pole, so they just cut the bottom off and they leave everything hanging there. And it's been like that for a while now, and I imagine they will get back to it someday, but that's been there like that for a while.
The one in front of my house, a car hit years ago, and they took and tied it together to the new pole.
The other one in front of Intermetro, where
Right.
the street light is on that, and it's on a curve in the road. The street light is there, and the street light is like hanging down at 45-degree angle, and that pole is splintered, so they put a brace on it. And
So we're taking it,
Serious, yeah.
sorry, Karen,
Perfect.
let's get back up.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
We're taking a very aggressive approach on the utility companies. I know we have several different areas. Some of the poles are actually bent this way. So we're taking an aggressive approach to go get those, remove the ones that are bad, that have been replaced, and then also the ones
Double poles.
in areas that they should not have been put in. Like Bill, we're going to be addressing that also, okay?
Thank you.
So in all 5 districts, we'll be addressing these.
You want to stay there a second? So can you also address the potholes from the utility companies? Because I know I reported the one on North Main, which was freshly paved. I reported the one on Pine Street, which was also a freshly paved street. They did those early spring, and we're still waiting for them to repair them
Could you
properly.
just let Lisa know where?
No, I let last week, and somebody did fill them,
Yeah.
but I think the utility companies need to maybe do it a little bit faster, because,
Hope he knows.
I know when they do the initial, they let it settle a little bit,
okay,
and then they come back, but a lot of times, we have to go back and actually,
yeah, which is terrible, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
That wasn't bad.
That wasn't, no, it wasn't
No.
that too bad at all. But I'm going to be on the same theme with telephone poles. Yet again, we have,
Fair's coming.
oh, I know, my show and tell, right? Telephone poles, yet again. So these went up.
There's a good one they could put it on.
Yeah, there's one you could put it on, I think yesterday. So I took these down on the 4 telephone poles that are at the corner of South River and Ross Street. So this guy, this record fair guy, does this, seems to be doing this twice a year on having these sales. He, I have to be careful not to curse, craps up our city. That's probably a better word. I don't think he gives a, I might say that word again, crap about our city. It makes it look absolutely ugly and terrible. And I just hope we can go after this guy and figure out
Wait, oh,
what to
thank
do, because he's making our city look terrible.
Been going on for years.
I also then, just want to make a comment on and encourage people about the request of UGI's rate increase and encourage citizens to go to the Pennsylvania Utilities Commission. There are a couple, I base a lot of things on a few senior citizens, friends of mine who are constituents, and what they make on a monthly basis from their Social Security checks. And as you know, the Consumer Price Index increase for Social Security was 2.5%. So I have one friend who makes $1,700 a month, and I have another one who has $1,300 a month. So the 2.5% is $32 for one person, $42 from the other person. But when you take out the premium increase of Medicare, which went up by $10.30, they're down to then $22 and $32. And one of them had a $25 increase in their insurance, their house insurance, or their fire and regular house insurance. So just wipe out the $25. So that person is now in the hole $2.80. The other person decided to renegotiate with their insurance company, but now has less insurance coverage. So they have the price, but now they went down in their services. When you throw in the potential increase for UGI, which is anywhere from 7.5% to 10.8%, these two people actually are on programs, but they'll go up $5 each in their bills. So my one friend will have a grand total of $2 extra a month, and my other friend will be in the whole $7.80. So now that's not even including the price of eggs that has gone up or anything else related to inflation at the grocery store. But please go to puc.pa.gov and look for their public meeting. This was just filed in January of 27th. The PUC has 9 months to complete their investigation of it. So the rate increase won't go up in March. It will probably go up in October, or it won't if there's such a public outcry. So I really encourage you to go to puc.pa.gov to protest the potential increase for UGI gas. Okay.
Only one thing. Lisa, is he
Yes.
planning on speaking?
Yes, I get one.
Well, okay, I know, but he's not turning it in.
So we're gonna have to announce it to him. You want to adjourn this one?
Yep. Okay, we'll adjourn. And then next meeting.
Give us 2 minutes to change the.
Thanks.
Are you guys requesting people to speak?
You need to fill out
There's a
that
form in the back.
Which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty and everlasting God, who presides over all things in heaven and earth, come and preside over these deliberations so that those that make decisions may be guided by your wisdom.
Okay, does anyone want to speak on pending, sorry, roll call?
Roll call, Mr. Barrett,
Here.
Mr. Belishko.
Here?
Mr. Marin.
Here.
Mrs. McClay,
Here.
Mr. Brooks.
Here.
Also in attendance is Mayor George Brown, Controller Tony Thomas, Administrator Charlie McCormick, Assistant City Attorney Maureen Collins, Assistant City Clerk Tracy Smith, Administrative Assistant Lisa Sanfilippo. Good evening and welcome to tonight's regular session of council. Please turn off all cell phones. Following are examples of some important council rules. They are not intended to be a complete list. Please adhere as closely as possible to the 5-minute speaker presentation time limit. No persons are allowed to address the council from beyond the rail, except the speaker at the dais who has the floor. Chairperson shall preserve order and decorum and prevent attacks on personalities. Chairperson shall determine all points of order. No persons except city officers or their representatives shall be permitted within the rail during any meeting without the express permission of council. Council kindly asks that the public please vacate the building within 10 minutes after the meeting adjourns. And finally, when members of the administration are speaking, please stand up and use the microphone. Now you can do it.
Okay, anyone like to speak on pending legislation?
Yes.
The pending legislation is approval of minutes. Approval of minutes.
I have a question because the minutes do involve approval of the sanitary authority's minutes, correct? And also, well, I'm not concerned about the other matter. I don't know if Maureen would know, but, or any council member. I was just wondering, out of curiosity, if the minutes were not approved, what would be the consequences? The reason I ask, I very disenchanted with the sanitary authority, what's going on over there in terms of the, I've brought this up several times, the stormwater fee, which is going on, as far as I know, ad infinitum. And I thought this might be a way, if the council would not approve the minutes, Can I have your attention for a minute, Tony? Or-
I was looking for the minutes, the list of minutes.
I mean, I know what I say isn't exactly urgent, but maybe you would know the answer, you know?
There's 3 minutes on here.
If council would, for some reason or other, would not, I don't know if this has ever been done, I asked Kathy and she didn't know, and I'm not surprised, but if for some reason the minutes were not approved, what would happen there? Would there be any fallout or consequences? Would life just go on as normal or what? The reason I ask, I thought to myself, and I tried to make an issue out of this, the fact that, as I see it, the Wembley Valley the WVSA, and I don't know if Mr. Valesco agrees with me, he sits on the board there, I think is exploiting this business of the stormwater fee terribly, taking advantage of people financially with no end in sight. And their budget has grown, as far as I know. There's no numbers listed in here. They approved a stormwater fee for they approved the stormwater operating budget for dated December 6, 2024, but doesn't list the amount. But as far as I know, the reason I bring this up, I thought well, I guess this is deluding myself, but I thought a few people on council felt the same way, that enough is enough. That the WVSA is taking advantage here. They are distributing a lot of the funds to the members of the sanitary authority, such as the city. So there's a flux of money coming in to the city, not just to this city, but I guess all the 38 or 40 member municipalities here, from the stormwater fee. And there's no end in sight to this, and and I see it exploiting and taking advantage of people. And another thing is the fact that, so I thought as a way of protest, I just urge council to reject the minutes. I don't know, if that sends a message at all. Maybe it doesn't to you people, but I thought as a way of protesting the actions of the WVSA that might send a message to them. And as I said, I don't think the consequences I don't know what consequences would be there of not approving the minutes. But from what I know, they have bought, and correct me if I'm wrong if you know this, Mike, but they have bought more property, they've hired more personnel, with a larger budget, with all the money coming in from basically the stormwater fee. And yet I'm still confused in this issue. I don't know if Charlie can straighten me out on it, but the city does get a chunk of money from the stormwater fee. I don't know whether it's $30,000 or $40,000 or more. I think it was more than that, wasn't it? Maybe $100,000. So it just, look, I'm not calling it a scam. Maybe it borders on that. And I'm not saying that the city is complicit in this, but it's time to call a spade. And it's enough that we taxpayers are taking it on the chin in various other ways, which maybe I'll bring up later. But I don't think unless you can enlighten me, Mike, there's no end in sight to this fee. And why should we be burdened with this fee forever and ever because of some mandate from the federal government?
Mr. Troy, the agenda is minutes.
All right, well, I'm just saying, I'm just
to reject
explaining
it,
my reason for.
I just want to keep you on
I just
topic,
urge the
that's all.
council to think about accepting the minutes. I would urge them to reject the minutes of the sanitary authority. I don't know if it's ever been done. Thank you.
Anyone else on pending legislation?
Tony, please.
Yes, sir.
Marion, I would think that if we were to not approve the minutes, that we would have to have justification, obviously, and then it would go back to the entity, in this case, as Sam's talked about, the sanitary authority, to correct it or justify it, right? And then it would come back to us.
Yes.
Yeah, I would believe so. That's all, Tony.
Okay.
I request a clarification on.
Sorry, public comment. When I call on you, there'll be public comments, sir. Anyone else on pending legislation on the minutes?
What's the request for discussion? I wasn't able to be here for the whole meeting, so what is the request?
Sir, it's pending legislation. We're approving minutes.
Okay, could I have a list of what is sought to be approved?
There's an agenda.
It's on, the agenda's back there.
What, it's supposed to be in here?
Yeah, they're down.
There's nothing in here, sorry.
All right, shh.
Thank you.
I think I wrote them.
Here, I'll give him mine. Here, come here, sir.
We don't do,
don't do
we don't do that way. All right, anyone, we'll go to active
So now we're
council
gonna-
discussions.
Okay, I do have something about that I would like to speak about.
Now, it's only a minute.
It's related to minutes.
Okay.
It's related to, do you want us to approve them or not approve the minutes?
Could I speak?
Yes.
State
I'd
your
like to be
name.
able to invoke my right to freedom of expression.
State your name for the record.
My name is Mr. Matthew John Mashevsky. I'm a legally obedient citizen resident of Luzerne County out of Edwardsville, Pennsylvania, 18704. I'd just like to raise the concern. I was not here for the general discussion of the minutes and what was spoken about in regards to the sanitary authority, although I am aware generally of some of the things the sanitary authority is seeking to remedy regarding sewage, regarding water treatment, and the pass-through system that is currently in the works at the riverfront here on this
Sir,
side of the river.
Stay to the.
I'm getting there, sir.
Do you want us to approve the minutes or not? That's what we're talking about, the
We're not
minutes.
talking about the actual.
We're not talking about the actual stuff. It's,
You can talk
So
about
the
that
minutes
later.
are to
You can
request
ta-
if we speak about it?
yeah, you can talk about that later at the public comments. You can say anything you want, but this is on pending legislations, means the minutes, we're going to just pass another agency's minutes. That's all.
Okay, so I'm not going to make a decision without being informed. I'd like to know what the legislation is.
There is no legislation.
So
no.
this is to speak about creating legislation?
No. So there are different committees and authorities within the city.
Of course.
They submit their minutes to us.
And what are the
And then
minutes in reference to?
This one is in the sanitary authority.
And what
And then
particularly
we
of
just-
their authority?
we just
Is it of their
approve it.
finances? Is it of what they process?
It's their minutes.
The minutes from the
Right.
meeting.
You can go to their meeting. They have a public meeting.
Okay, well, I would like to not vote on that because I was not in that meeting. I was not aware there was a meeting that was being approved of here. This seems like an interesting means to be able to interrelate approval and governance. So I'm kind of concerned about that. I will read up on it further. I would just like to, as I said, invoke my right to freedom of expression and freedom of speech and declare that I feel that the workers who are currently operating at the riverfront need a few more
Oh, wait,
intake
okay, you have to
and
stay.
exhaust.
Do that on public comments. This is.
Okay, I
this
will
is
do that. I will
specific
do
thing.
that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, then I do not vote in lieu of not knowing.
There is no voting.
specifically.
It's
Well, you
just-
asked me to
it's-
approve or deny, and that's a
No,
type.
that's what, we're doing that. We're asking you for your opinion on a subject, that's all.
Okay,
But
and
it's
since I'm
the
not
minutes of
clear on
those-
what you want my opinion of,
Yeah, it's not, this is interesting.
It's like our meeting now,
Yeah.
there'll be minutes for that.
Yeah, we just adopting,
You'll be called up again to speak on
Right.
anything that you want to.
yep, and you'll be
Okay,
next.
So you just want my approval that you spoke about?
No,
You
no,
don't need
no,
your
no-
approval.
nothing at all. We'll call you back up for,
In just
and
2
it's just
minutes.
2 minutes, and you can say anything you want.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
sir, thank you.
I need a
I
motion
speak for
and a
myself.
second to approve the minutes.
Make a motion.
Mr. Barrett, moved by Mr. Barrett,
Second.
second by Mr. Belishko. Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Mr. Belishko.
Yes.
Mr. Mirren.
Yes.
Mrs. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, council
Moving right
presentations,
along.
again, anything to add, Councilman Barrett?
No, sir.
Councilman Blushko, Councilman Marin,
I'm fine, thank you.
and Councilwoman McLean.
I just want to thank administration. I know I forget that a lot, so thank you. You guys are very responsive, and things seem to get done, so I appreciate it.
Okay, good. All right, public comments? Matthew? Matthew? You're up. So you have 5 minutes to say anything you want to say.
Oh, man, that's a big ask. Okay, everybody?
And you just give a speech for 5 minutes
And when you're
on
done-
any topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're done, there's no back and forth.
There you go.
I will speak about the most important thing first, which is health and wellness for the people of our great nation. We are currently being acted against as a result of illicit and seditious actions had as a result of improper authorization by the governing authority of the USDA. There are toxins which are being included within the food supply chain, utilized for herbicides, pesticides, and the such, which are negatively impacting the health of the entire human body, from the emotional system, the neurotransmitters, and the mini brain of the heart, to the neurotransmitters and the actions of the brain, to the ability of the stomach to be able to fulfill its obligations to nurture us, and so on and so forth. I would highly and extremely urge, in desperate and begging manner, for you all to adopt a 100% organic, plant-based, and 100% organic and pasture-raised, animal-based diet. Please do your absolute best to only eat organic and organic pasture-raised foods. It is the best and only products worth consuming for inclusion in your diet. Prior to doing this, I was unable to regain my health as an individual, and I was actually so sick that until the 25th, I had started to pee blood due to the infection of a calcium deposit on my lower inner intestine, directly next to my lower iliac blood vessel leading into my reproductive system. The toxins had caused a disconnect between my sympathetic and my parasympathetic nervous system. The issue is so bad. And if I were to eat a non-organic food right now, I would actually have an allergic reaction, because my body has been able to regain its immune control and the proper functioning of all its individual systems and the collective of them therein. So this is as of the 25th that I have been a truly healthy person, and I am still regaining the last 30% of my mental facilities necessary to be becoming of the needs and the obligations I have as a obedient and duty-bound citizen of this city, the county, the state, and the nation. Furthermore, I would like to say briefly about what I was trying to speak about just moments ago, which is about the sanitary authority. We have very, very good people, honest, hardworking individuals who are working in the sludge down over in those tunnels on the riverfront. The exhaust and the intake fans, they're not moving enough air. If they were, the smell from those tunnels would be dispersed over a wider area. Instead, it is a highly concentrated fume that is surrounding the area of Market Street. I would desperately urge the council to speak about getting more fans, intake and exhaust installed in the following tunnel manhole entrance and exit access points, so that the individuals who are working down there, whoever they may be and however they are authorized to work, may have air to breathe. And if you cannot do that, to please give them respiratory systems, electronic or just standard HEPA filters, so they do not breathe in bacteria and contaminants that have not been able to be treated by the Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority. Furthermore, I would like to mention and request that we have a discussion about the clarification of how funds are dispersed and how they are accounted for in regards to not only the Kirby Park Master Development Plan, because there are some discrepancies in how those funds are used. Before, we had a single meeting, which was last night, and I was very happy to see Mayor Brown at that meeting. He smiled, he was participatory, it was fantastic. It's concerning to me that we already have surveyors and individuals of the contracting agencies doing their job before there has even been a public commitment. So we have had 3 individual attempts to culture a master plan for the Kirby Park Development Zone, and I feel there's too much focus on too wide of an area. I think that it is important for council to consider the recycling of funds by reutilizing and reinvesting in previous installations, such as the Food Shack, and a focus on offering a unique selection of healthy foods that are organic with your contracted leasee, who I met at last night's evening meeting. I would request that you consider adopting and appointing a person to be in charge of building an indoor pool. For if we are able to have an indoor pool, we can be directly competitive with Kingston, which only has an outdoor pool. Furthermore, having an indoor pool nearby the restroom facilities and the bathing facilities and that food court, as well as being directly next to the maintenance shed, means that we have easy access for our citizenry to be able to go to the snack shack, to be able to go to the restrooms, to be able to be encouraged to be a part of the park, and to be able to spend their money with service providers of Wilkes-Barre and not of Kingston. Because it seems that Wilkes-Barre is the primary manager of this project and of this development, because it's one of Wilkes-Barre's protected lands and assets. If Wilkes-Barre doesn't feel comfortable doing that and would like to let that slide, I believe it would be important for Wilkes-Barre to cede Kirby Park to Kingston, because they're the ones who would largely be contributing and receiving the benefit of that park.
Thank you, sir. Also, Councilwoman McClay and I were also at
Thank
that
you.
meeting yesterday, and my understanding is that was the very first meeting to take in public
Right.
input. And I encourage you also to do the survey online as well.
I want to
There
do
will be
that
a
after I've had this meeting.
Sorry, sir. There will be a series of more public input onto that.
Yes, sir.
And those two parks, which are Wilkes-Barre's, the third park, which is Kingston's, is extremely important to us. And we
It's got to
welcome.
be proactive neighbors.
And we welcome everyone with their public input onto that process.
Okay, would you
Thank you
be-
very much, sir.
Just one quick question. Would you be willing to provide information about how I can obtain the financial documents so I could be a beneficial citizen accounting for the funds?
I believe the gentleman last night told you he would get you that information.
You spoke about the information which was presented on the projector regarding the display that they were showing us.
Right, he said he was going to get the information, and all those slides are also online.
I'd like to be able to
well.
know the specific system the city utilizes to be able to report its financial obligations.
Okay. All right, sir.
I'll speak to the secretary maybe sometime tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Troy?
I have a few points to bring up. I'm just surprised that there's no agenda tonight. I think this problem, this sort of thing has occurred before, and I did recommend, I was shocked that nobody really seems to think that there's much wrong with the city that...
Excuse me, Sam. Please, hey, gentlemen in the back, please. Matthew, please, shh. This is quiet. Please, please. Go ahead, Mr. Troy. We're have attention on
Get my 5 minutes
Mr. Troy.
back? I just wanted to know some answers to some questions, and then also mention a couple of problems, as I see it, issues that need to be addressed in the city that I don't think are being addressed by either council members or the mayor. First of all, I want to comment, Mayor, that I know I keep bringing this up. With all due respect, I'm very disappointed that you didn't grant any sort of tax. I mean, okay, you're bragging about the fact that you didn't raise, the taxes haven't been raised in several years. But again, there's a tremendous burden on people financially now, and you should have at least given senior citizens and people who are strapped and maybe in fact facing foreclosure a small concession in terms of giving them maybe an extra 30 days to pay their taxes without penalty, or to get that 1% discount, that magnanimous discount that you've installed. Maybe increase that discount. There's small nuances or subtle ways that you could have given some concessions on this. I'm talking about the property taxes that are coming due in next month if you want the discount, and in April if you don't. I think that's the setup. I'm disappointed, as I said, that there's no concession to the taxpayers who are working harder and harder and seem to be making less and less money. You do seem to pay, as a whole, you and council do seem to consider it your priorities. You have a different sense of priorities than I do. I see the priority of helping out the people in any way possible. After all, we're the ones who elected you guys, and we're the ones who pay the taxes. But we seem to come in the second place when it comes to special interests, such as Kings and Wilkes and the Chamber, unions, whatever, if you want to consider them special interests. It's a little aggravating that how about, for instance, the Homestead Exclusion Act? Could that be, do you know anything about that, Maureen? Could that be readopted by a simple vote? I don't think readopted. I guess it was never enacted here by the city, but as you know, the school district at least has that, and they expanded the parameters of it so that people can get a larger break. And they give you a certain amount of, I mean, if that's within the realm of feasibility, I mean, couldn't that be considered as a small concession to the taxpayers to help people out a little bit this year? I know you haven't raised taxes, and that's good, but in my estimation, from my perspective, doesn't go far enough. Several other issues I'd like to raise with little time. I wondered if Charlie or somebody could fill us in as to this. I'm confused as all hell on the status of Sterling site there. The zoning exception that was just approved. What does that open the door for there? That doesn't open the door for the project itself, the hotel and the development, does it? Or is it a parking garage? Maybe I missed something there. Somebody could fill me in on that, because pretty critical thing there, and it's been sitting as a vacant lot with just parked cars and piles of dirt for several years. How about the Northampton and Maine's project? That's also on hold. Well, of course, it's winter time now. I recognize that. Nobody seems to know anything. How about what's left in the ARP budget, Charlie, or Mayor? I can't seem to get a straight answer on that either. I assume there's something left and it's earning some interest somewhere, but maybe you could fill us in. I think the taxpayers have a right to know. And if there is something left, let's say $1 million or $2 million even, cannot that be used, Mayor? I brought this issue up before, I know, maybe I sound like a broken record, but Pittston has light years ahead of us in a lot of ways. And one way I think that, I mean, is it such a bad thing to look at another city? Last time I brought this up, you seem to think that you can't compare Wilkes-Barre to Pittston. Well, why can't you? I mean, they're light years ahead of us in all sorts of ways. The development there is staggering. And they had that building blocks program. Well, let me bring this up in the context of what I didn't bring up, and I have little time left. But one problem with the city, which nobody seems to care about, is urban blight. I think we all know what urban blight is. Neighborhoods that are run down and dilapidated. What are we doing besides tearing homes down and tearing and other properties down? Pittston is building up. They had that, what's it called, the Better Blocks program or something like that, where neighborhoods can get together and have projects to renovate homes, to attend to structures that are deteriorating and dilapidated, not necessarily dilapidated, but need improvement. I don't see what's wrong to looking into something like that for this city, if there is some money left in the ARP. And if not, we're paying a grant person, what, about $90,000 a year? Maybe he or she, I forget who it is. Is that Brian Sweats? But anyway, have that person look into getting some sort of grants for this sort of program. I rattled off the names of, I mean, just go up to our neighborhood in the Heights. Oh, by the way, I did forget to mention one thing. I know I'm all over the place here, and I'm sorry, but if the mayor can respond. But Mayor, I do want to commend. Now, I know you think I'm just being a gadfly most of the time, but it's not true. I want to commend the DPW for its recent quick reaction to clearing the streets, to salting in my neighborhood especially, where there's a lot of steep hills. They were on the job very quickly after the last ice storm we had and other snowstorms, and I want to commend them. They really made things a lot easier than in the past. But thank you for your time. I don't know if anybody can answer all those issues.
No, Mr. Troy, you're never a gadfly. You're a very concerned, involved citizen, and we always appreciate your comments.
Well, I appreciate that comment.
As far as urban blight, we have a thing called the South Valley Land Bank.
I didn't get to the other problems. You think I can take an extra minute and get to
As we get to the South Valley Land Bank is concerned with urban blight, and it's a program that the mayor has initiated, and if you want, you can speak more.
I'm ready to go.
You can speak more about it, sir.
Yeah, Sam, we initiated.
You're talking to the microphone, Mayor. I didn't bring my hearing aid. I'm sorry.
Okay,
My hearing is failing me.
all right. Sam, yes, we initiated and created, along with several other municipalities, the Lower South Valley Land Bank. And that land bank, the land bank actually serves as what you're saying is a redevelopment type program, okay? The land bank secured 8 properties in the city of Wilkes-Barre that will be renovated and/or reconstructed on those properties. So that is happening. You talked about Pittston, and I think Carbondale, another city, is issuing a $1,000 beautification grant to the homeowners. Sam, we did this 2 years ago under the 9-point plan we put together. People that had primary residences in the city of Wilkes-Barre were given a grant of $7,500. Now, Pittston and the other cities you're talking about are offering a $1,000 grant. We gave out 252 $7,500 grants for anything that the homeowners wanted to do to beautify, update, remodel their properties. So think about that, 252 people times 7,500. Quite a bit of money. Thirdly, no, you can't compare Pittston to...
Why not, Mayor?
Oh, wait. This is my time, okay? You can't compare Pittston to Wilkes-Barre. Wilkes-Barre has 620 streets, okay? It's much, much larger than Pittston. Mayor Lombardo does an amazing job, and I think he's a wonderful mayor. But there's also redevelopment going on in the city of Wilkes-Barre that may even be much larger than what's happening in Pittston. But I give Mayor Lombardo, or the media here, I want you to know, I give Mayor Lombardo a lot of credit. He's doing a fantastic job, okay? But what we have going on is, yes, we have the Sterling project. I was here during the zoning meeting, and when they were approved the zoning approvals that they asked for, the owner of that project was asked by zoning, when will you start? And he said, we'll start breaking ground in March, April, okay, to give you an update. So that's what we're looking at, breaking ground at March, April timeframe. The project that used to be called Sphere, we're working very, very closely with that developer. It's going to be luxury apartments that we put into that block area. It's going to be a beautiful area. That's going to be it's going to bring that whole block back, the entire block. So we're looking at least 120, if not more, luxury apartments in that area. We're also looking at some retail space on the first floor. So that's another wonderful large project. Both these projects are around the $30 million project cost, okay? So it's going to be a major benefit, both of these. If you look at what we have going on in the city, we also have the Myers High School renovation project. And I'm bringing this up because you compared Pittston to Wilkes-Barre. Myers High School, that was shut down by the school board.
Yeah, awful. Sorry.
Okay. It's going to turn into 108 beautiful apartments with retail on the first floor. So, and actually taking the football field and using that for other purposes, for sports and other things that the community can utilize. There's just 3 major projects in the city of Wilkes-Barre that are going to be starting this year. If not, Myers is already in the development stages. They're actually working inside that now. So there's 3 wonderful projects, not counting other projects that we have on the drawing board. We're working with developers. So City of Wilkes-Barre is 2025 is going to be an amazing year. 2026 is going to be an amazing year. So Sam, just so you know, when you try to compare cities, you can't do that. You really can't do that. And we're going to have another great year, just like Mayor Lombardo is going to have a great year in the city of Pittston. I think I answered all the questions.
You did. Thank you very much, sir. Sam, just also want you to know that there's a Downtown Residents Association, has a meeting every second Monday of the month.
I didn't know.
It's been meeting since 2001, for 25 years. Next month's meeting is the developer of the First National Bank building, who also bought the 2 Stegmeyer mansions. He's going to ask questions from the neighborhood, what his plans are. The following month in April will be the developer of Northampton in Maine. People can ask questions of the developer, what his plans are.
Who is that, do you know?
The guy is from Scranton. His name is...
It was sold, right?
This guy was, name escapes me now. He was at the zoning meeting. No, Basically is the first one. That's the First National Bank, the Northampton in Maine. He was at that zoning meeting. Anyway, he's the speaker for April, and in May, the developers for Sterling project is also coming to do a public thing. So these meetings are always in the newspaper. I know you read the newspaper. Please come and you can ask questions there. Thank you very much, Mr. Troy.
That's it?
I answered all 3 of your things, and the mayor was very good.
One more question.
Matthew. Hello again.
Hello.
Oh, boy.
Just take a second to calm things down, I'm sorry.
Okay.
My name is Matt Haslam, and along with my husband, Michael, behind me, we are residents of Wilkes-Barre. I'm here today concerning 219 South Washington Street. On Google, they advertise themselves as the downtown art and event space and vision to reality party and event planning. Since April 17th, 2024, when this business opened, they have been a constant nuisance to everyone surrounding the apartments and businesses, including us. The building owner from New York City rents to Ashley Rushing, who advertised this business as an art gallery and small event space to host birthday parties. But since this venue has started giving us problems every weekend since, we found evidence to prove immediately after she got zoning permission to open the downtown art and event space, she has been subletting the building to Vision to Reality event, party and event planning, owned by LaToya Jones from Scranton. LaToya appears to have exclusive rights to rent out the venue and has been operating it as a nightclub every weekend since April, with parties going to 2:30 or 3 a.m. every weekend. Her crowd fills our shared alleyway as LaToya, in her own words, considers it an extension of her venue. That crowd screams at the top of their lungs, does drugs, and drinks alcohol they purchase from inside the venue in the shared alleyway all night long. Videos online we found publicly shared by LaToya show the DJ blasting music, a stripper pole inside the venue, a full bar serving alcohol when the venue is not permitted by the PA Liquor Control Board to even have alcohol on the premises, and a room zoned to fit 100 or so people by fire code actually is filled with hundreds of people every night. She is selling raffle tickets for $30 to customers who have a chance to win the venue for free for one night. But to our knowledge, none of the venue owners hold a small games of chance license from the PA Department of Revenue. Our videos appear to show LaToya and her guest twerking, chugging hard liquor, and doing drugs in the alleyway, our alleyway. In the past year, we have spent thousands of dollars to move out of our own apartment, to bug bomb our own house, thanks to bugs and rodents caused by LaToya's garbage. We have spent every weekend calling the police this past weekend, a few of LaToya's guests were even arrested. The danger is escalating, but every time we call the cops or contact the owners for a peaceful resolution, LaToya threatens to sue us for harassment. She stalks us online every week, and next weekend is worse. And the next weekend is worse, with LaToya now hosting karaoke parties in the alleyway and purposefully putting dozens of garbage bags on the pathway to our private parking lot on holiday weekends when my husband and I invite family over. We view these moves as clear retaliation for reporting her to the police. All we want to do is live in a quiet apartment without bugs or dangerous drunk people outside our house. Even LaToya herself thinks her crowds are dangerous and hires security every week to wear body armor outside her venue.
Oh my gosh.
Our last hope before taking this to civil court is to ask the zoning office to revoke the license of the downtown art and event space and send a cease and desist to the Vision to Reality party and event planning. Both of these businesses are clearly not operating under good faith under the terms they applied to the zoning office under. LaToya, Ashley, and their customers are clearly a risk to our community. We've seen their drunk guests get behind the wheel and drive away, which increases the risk to the public. Her guests are in danger from the venue exceeding fire codes, and the owner's disregard for any state or local laws brings danger to our community. This is not about a noise complaint anymore. They are now clear dangers to our beautiful city and its residents. Thank you so much. And I would like to also thank Tony Brooks for his continued work on this and for inviting us to the Residents Association meeting every month. Thank you so much for what you do.
Sure, thank you. Matt, Mike, I'm really sorry that you have to come again. I remember from the last time you gave us a list of the calls, so about 5 months ago, you started to call 911 on a consistent basis. I hope the administration will look into the zoning rules and regulations and see if what we can do to accomplish this and bring peace and quiet to your neighborhood.
I appreciate that.
Okay,
Thank you
so much for coming. Okay. Any other comments for council? Okay. When's the next meeting? Okay, good.
Yeah. I do apologize because I did call the gal yesterday. And she said I had to be here by 5:20 to speak. And I was wondering if you could allow me a minute or two.
So we'll adjourn and I'll come talk to you. You had to fill out a form beforehand, sir, that's all, okay? All right, you can talk to us afterwards.
I think
The next meeting,
the minutes out, was that regarding?
no. So we don't, there's a decorum and process that we have here. Okay, we're adjourned. All right, I'll come up, Wally.
Okay.
What I feel is there's